and I'm going to carve caverns of gore into your virgin flesh. Good evening. I am RJ City, and this is RJ Reads Wrestling Books. Last episode we read from Mick Foley's first book, and I don't know how the reception was because I block shoot these things, but now we are going to read from Mick Foley's third book. The guy writes a lot of books. It's called The Hardcore Diaries by Mick Foley, National New York Times, blah, blah, blah. There he is on the cover, checking the wind. He's a big fan of the wind. Maybe he's a sailor, and this is when he used to work with Sherry Lewis. The passage I'm reading from tonight centers on a little event I like to call, because he likes to call, because the company calls it that, Backlash. Backlash. One-on-one with Randy Orton. Hardcore rules. A second chance at making a lasting impression. It was a conference call with Vince and Gewurz while sitting in a car at Dewey's Little League practice that got my mind working for Houston. My gut was churning, the result of one of those protein drinks I'd been subsisting on since Mania. I weighed in at just under 290 for Mania, the lightest I'd been since 1996, and a good 40 pounds lighter than I'd been for the past few years. But I wanted more. I trained harder, I dieted stricter. I'd been 280 for most of 95 and 96, a time when I had done much of my best work in ECW, Japan, and WWE. I'd been 280 when I worked with Shawn Michaels in Philadelphia in September of 96, which still stands out as my best personal performance, if not match, largely because I was in shape and could keep pace with a lighter, better athlete for close to 30 minutes. Vince wanted to talk about the April 5th Raw in Houston. I had requested promo time in front of the live crowd, but Vince had other ideas. "I want to have you in a rocking chair, Mick," he said. "Rocking back and forth, in a room by yourself. No fans, holding a box that we think will be flowers, but which will turn out to be your barbed wire bat. I don't want to know what you're going to say. I want you to surprise us. Just say it from your heart." So I did. I sat there alone except for the camera, lighting, and sound crews in that room, rocking back and forth, holding a box, speaking from my heart, letting loose on one of my favorite personal interviews. This is a picture in the middle. This isn't the actual interview. Here it is. The direction reads, Foley backstage, sitting in a rocking chair, holding a tulip and a flower box with a ribbon on it. So we begin again. "It has been said many times that you never forget your first. Call me sentimental, but I think that's true, because in my life there have been many dozens, maybe hundreds, but I've never quite forgotten my very first one. There were times on the road where I'd pick up a couple a week, use them for a couple of days, and then hand them off to a lucky fan. But I've never forgotten my first flannel shirt, given to me the Christmas of 1997, 3 sizes too large, and not worn in the last 10 years until just a few days ago. I went to a box of my favorite things and gleefully withdrew it, intending to wear it in my match at Backlash in Edmonton. It may sound funny, but for a guy whose name is synonymous with hardcore wrestling to become so fond of, even in love with, an inanimate object. But I've always found the word hardcore really had nothing to do with chairs. It had nothing to do really with tables, garbage cans, cookie sheets. The term hardcore signified that I had an attitude that meant I was going to go above and beyond what it took to give the fans the greatest show possible. It was a word that said I loved the business, and I loved the fans enough to put my body through unimaginable pain. And even when I had the chance to go to Japan and take part in some barbaric matches, I did it with love on my mind. After all, in 1994, I had a 1-year-old baby girl. I had a 3-year-old boy. I had a mortgage to pay, and I did what I had to do to pay the bills. So even though some of the matches I took part in may have been described as inhumane, deep down in my heart, I rested with the comfort and knowledge that I was doing it for love. And I swore I'd never go back. I swore I'd never watch those matches again, never watch what I put those poor Japanese people through. But in trying to recapture the fire and passion that I thought I lacked at WrestleMania, I went back and I looked at those tapes, and I did barbaric things. I did inhumane things. But it wasn't the moves, it wasn't the barbed wire, it wasn't the tacks that caught my eye. It was my eyes. Over and over, I'd watch the tapes, rewind, play, and it was there. It was a look in my eyes that said deep down, maybe there was a little part of me that didn't mind inflicting that type of damage. Deep down, maybe there was a little part of me that even liked it. Deep down, I heard the screams, the suffering, the agony. Maybe deep down, I even loved it. Randy Orton, these were honorable men. Nice men. They never spit in my face. They never conducted a calculated campaign calling me a coward. They never took a cheap shot, triple team efforts to send me to the hospital. But the fact is, when I had the chance, I wrapped my arm in barbed wire and I tore them apart. So if I were you, I'd be asking myself a simple question. And that question would be, what the hell is this man going to do to me at Backlash? Knowing full well he hates my guts. The answer is, Randy Orton, it's simple. I am going to kick your ass all over No. I'm not going to kick your ass all over Edmonton because I hear that all the time. It's become a cliche. I'm going to kick your ass, man. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm not going to kick your ass in Edmonton, Randy. Really, I'm going to be a little more descriptive than that. In order to be descriptive, I'm going to have to introduce you to another old friend of mine. Another old friend that I saw in my box of favorite things, Randy Orton. Mick pulls out a barbed wire bat out of the box. Say hello to my friend, Barbie. And Barbie's not going to kick your ass. Barbie's going to get sunk into your skull. And I'm going to carve caverns of gore into your virgin flesh. I am going to bring on the type of bleeding usually reserved for special effects teams and Mel Gibson biblical efforts. Randy Orton, I'm going to tear you apart. I'm going to take Barbie and I'm going to tee off. Mick hits the table on the floor. I'm going to take Barbie and hits lighting fixture. I'm going to take Barbie and I'm going to teach you what it means to be hardcore. Hits rocking chair. I'm going to rip. I'm going to tear, I'm going to gorge, I'm going to possibly disembowel, and I am going to love it. But don't take my word for it.
Guests of the RJ City Show, subscribe to his channel, follow him on social media, and buy his t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/RJ City.